Welcome back to Ginger's Kitchen. Today I'm going to do a 90-second cinnamon roll. I've made the plain keto roll the 90-second, but this is going to be different. One thing, I added a little bit of maple syrup, so it's definitely not keto, but it's that basic 90-second almond flour roll that I've been making for a long time. It's all over the internet. I've been making it for several years. A friend of mine sent it to me. And I made it yesterday, and it came out amazing. Now I used a teaspoon of monk fruit and a teaspoon of maple syrup, and then I'm going to add some Kate's butter. Kate's butter is made in small batches in Maine. I'm not affiliated with Kate's, but I just really like that butter. It's slightly more, but it's worth the flavor. And now I'm going to melt that all together. In addition, also a teaspoon of cinnamon, maybe a little bit more, like a teaspoon and a half. I have greased a glass bowl that I always use to make this roll. So just make sure whatever you decide to microwave it in, that it's safe for the microwave. And for me, glass or ceramic works best for this, one or the other. They're something that you usually use in your microwave. I personally wouldn't use plastic with this recipe. Now this is what turns it into a cinnamon roll. Now this is a teaspoon of monk fruit, a teaspoon and I think might have been a slightly more of the maple syrup, and about a pat and a half of Kate's butter, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now I have buttered the glass dish that I usually make this roll in. I usually would spray it with a nonstick spray, but I don't happen to have it. To me, this roll can be dry, so I add a tablespoon and a half of milk to the batter. Now in here is 3 tablespoons of almond flour, 1 tablespoon of coconut flour, and a half a teaspoon of baking powder. The baking powder makes it rise. When I make the plain one, it gets big enough to put a hamburger on. Now I've added this into the bowl with the milk and I'm stirring. You have to stir it really completely. And then I'm going to add an egg and stir it thoroughly. Now once you get it completely mixed, the real challenge to this recipe is to get the monk fruit, the cinnamon, and the butter, and the maple syrup all the way through to the bottom. So that is going to be the biggest challenge of this recipe. Now I tried this both ways, and I was very surprised. It turns out I put half the batter in and then the cinnamon to make sure it went all the way through to the bottom, and then added the other half and then put more of the cinnamon mixture on top. That didn't, surprise to me, that didn't make it go all the way through. The first time I swirled it on top and then stirred it with a butter knife, stirring it in that circular cinnamon roll pattern. So I'm going with my first method. I gently spoon this over and stir it in with the tip of a butter knife. And I keep stirring, and then you shake the bowl back and forth. You shake it back and forth to distribute that cinnamon mixture all the way to the bottom. And that worked the best for me. Cutting the batter in half didn't have the best results. Doing it this way had the best results for me. I'm sorry, my camera holder flipped a little bit, so you can't see the roll the best that I wanted you to be able to. But hopefully now you'll be able to see it in a more close-up picture. Now into the microwave for 90 seconds. And here it is. It came out of the microwave, and this is what it looks like. And I'm going to show you the first test I did, how it went all the way through. I'm going to show you that at the end of the video. Again, I'm sorry that the camera slipped when I was stirring the cinnamon in, but I hope you will like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy this recipe. Beware, it does have almond flour and coconut flour, so if you're allergic to nuts, recipe isn't for you. However, if you're not allergic, I hope you enjoy this recipe. I hope you enjoy it. And coming up are the pictures of the first one that I made. And as you can see, the cinnamon mixture went all the way through the roll. I've cut it in half and I've turned it over so you can see the top and the bottom. Please like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting Ginger's Kitchen. And until next time.